You know the old saying, if it's not one thing, it's another thing? Well, that has been my life when it comes to the truck in the last week or two. Overheating issues, electrical problems, fluid leaks, all those. But I am happy to say I think I've gotten to the bottom of it. So in this episode, I'm going to be walking you through some of the troubleshooting and solutions I came up with for my overheating issues. And also bring an update on the trailer and the solar system because I've been really pleased with how that's working. So let's jump into it. So the Miller Jeep was a success apart from, it not being a success. We had a blast, we had a good time, the truck performed awesome. It just crawled up stuff. I expected it to, but it was really cool to get out there and just really see that what I built works really well. But it did overheat. It got really, really hot on the first climb, up to about 250 degrees, which with an LS motor, particularly an iron block, is approaching rather critical. My oil temp didn't spike that high, so I wasn't that worried about it. But it was enough that I needed to address it. And I'm going to say this here with a caveat. I am not endorsing a company, I am not disparaging a company. I am merely stating what I dealt with. I purchased a Griffin radiator, an LS swap Griffin radiator, or an LS radiator for my truck. Really nice fit and finish, really nice attention to detail, but the first one I put in, it started leaking after a couple thousand miles. And the solution from Griffin was to put some of the radiator seal in there, which I didn't think was a solution at all. I hate that stuff because it goes into all your water jackets and all the journals and everything, and it's just not good. But the other solution was send it back to them, let them analyze it, and if it's a default, or a defect, they will send me another one. Also, not a good solution, and I was losing a lot of fluid. So I ended up buying another Griffin radiator without the shroud and fans, that I was able to take the fan and shrouds off the broken radiator and put it on the new radiator. Fast forward, I'm still having leaking issues that I could not track down. I thought it might be from my overflow, I thought it might be from a radiator hose, I thought it might be from the radiator itself. It moved all over the place and was driving me crazy. I would put fluid in and it would consistently drop down to a level that just wasn't conducive to good cooling. In a real simple overview of how your cooling system works, you have your inlet hose that goes into the top and your outlet that goes into the bottom, and as the water percolates down through the cooling fins, air is drawn through, and through conduction removes all that thermal energy and cools down the coolant so it can recirculate back into the motor. You have a couple of pressure release systems in there. You've got your thermostat, which will stop the flow out of the motor to the top of the radiator until it reaches a certain temperature. And then you've got your radiator cap, which is set at a certain PSI to vent in the case that the radiator overheats and it needs a pressure valve. Traditionally, LS motors like to run about a 16 psi radiator cap. The higher the pressure, the higher the boiling point. By increasing the pressure in the radiator, you effectively increase the temperature at which the radiator will boil over. It's a delicate balance because too much pressure in the radiator can cause issues elsewhere, but 16 to 18, or actually 14 to 18 psi is usually a pretty happy medium. After pulling my radiator cap, I had a suspicion that it was either inaccurately marked or faulty. And fortunately, it turned out to be a real cheap fix. I replaced the radiator cap and my cooling issues have gone away. I was consistently running about 210, 215, 220 degrees. So by putting this new radiator cap on, I effectively reduced the boil-over point. I effectively increased the boil-over point of my fluid, reducing the amount of fluid loss I was getting through the overflow, and increasing the efficacy of the radiator. All around, a great situation. Later on in the video, I'll show you guys, I towed my trailer up over the local pass to see if I could get it to overheat, and nothing. Everything went great. That said, It was frustrating. It's been something that's been driving me crazy for quite a while, and I'm rather frustrated that once again, it turned out to be something that I overlooked because I assumed that it would be a quality piece. Actually, that's unfair. It turned out to be something that I had overlooked because I just didn't think that a radiator cap could be faulty. There you go, live and learn. Check the easy things first. So why do you care about this? Why am I telling you all this? I feel that transparency is important in my videos. I know from the looks of things, everything's hunky-dory and everything works great and yay, trucks. This is a ton of work. A ton of work behind the scenes that oftentimes is not glamorous, is not fun, is incredibly frustrating, but is very, very rewarding when you can fix it yourself, identify the problem, and make repairs. And this has been a week of success in that regards. Next week, I will probably be stumped by a problem that I will not solve for another 3 months. But hey, challenges are why we do this stuff. This is Cinder, the trail dog. She's pretty cool. She may not look like your traditional trail dog, but she gets it done. It has been a while since I've given you guys an update on the solar setup. So we went out today and did a little exploring. I brought the solar setup with me and the trailer. I've been having some overheating issues that I think I finally traced down to a radiator cap that was incorrectly spec'd. It said it was 16 pounds. I don't think it was. So it was boiling over at every opportunity. So I wanted to tow my trailer with the new radiator cap and really stress the engine, try and overheat it, and it ran cooler than it was running at everyday driving with that old cap. So I think I fixed it, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you guys a little bit of the solar system and how it's working out. Here is the setup. As you can see, I've got the solar controller, my 100 amp breaker, the master power switch, the watt meter. This is a DC out. I've also got an another DC out right here. And then I've got my AC out via this pure sine wave inverter, which at this point is charging the battery for the drone. So that's really cool in the fact that I can just charge everything up while I'm on the move. And currently, with the view that I've got from the sun, you can see I've got pretty good exposure right here. I'm pulling down, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm pulling down about 4.2 amps, which is pretty good. And I'm looking at 12.7 volts. So fortunately my battery is pretty much charged at this point. It's a 100-watt solar panel, I believe. I'll have to check that, but it's a pretty decent sized solar panel in terms of the output. And the fact that I keep things charged is fantastic. The boys are having a blast screwing around up in the tent. Here comes one of them right now. What's up, dude?
Can we go hike soon and go on the rocks? Hike on the rocks?
He wants to go hike. That's awesome.